Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. How you doing today? It's good? Everybody's good? Welcome, welcome. We're financial advisors here at Jazz Wealth. Financial advisors for people who don't think they can have financial advisors. And remember, we don't just focus on retirement planning, right? Anything that touches your dough. Help people asking for a raise. Got a guy selling forest land with mineral rights actually on them. There's a guy with a health business. We're helping them out through kind of getting that going. You know, they're not very familiar with the business side of things, coming from an employee background. So anything we can help you with there, of course, that touches your dough, we're happy to help. Also, on Thursdays, we do Wine and Wealth every Thursday. Eric will be joining you this week. Going to do an overview for those of you that are brand new here and clients. What are you looking at? What's the portal look like? Where do you go for all this stuff? You know, all the good stuff there. He'll be going over that one. And also, before we get started today, me and Eric are starting a new thing, thanks to Cody and Kevin. Me and Eric are going to be campaigning for clients, right? So as the political president, the president and Trump and everybody are campaigning to be the president, me and Eric are going to campaign for clients, right? So today, after we're done here, my first commercial for campaigning, kind of a hit piece on Eric, is going to be going out. So we're going to have some fun with this as the political season gets going. Me and Eric will be campaigning for clients, airing everybody's dirty laundry and trying to make the case, you know, for why you want to work with Jazz and maybe Eric or whatever. So today I will go first. Look forward to that greatly. Anyways, we got GDP numbers. Actually, the second revision come out there. So GDP essentially revised down. It's a bit misleading because, you know, there was actually an increase in production and everything there, but it's interesting. What I found the most interesting about the GDP numbers, which can be market movers, is not the headline stuff, right? If you actually look deeper inside of it, what we find is that wholesale inventories were lower. No world does that mean? Like, why would I even care about that? Well, this stems back to the day trading days. When you can see data before the stock market opens, you can almost tell which area of the market's going to do the best for the day, or at least have the most attention, right? And so having wholesale inventories lower is a good thing. And it's a good thing because it means that, think about what happens, right? You sell widgets. Right? You make the widgets, you sell the widgets. Well, you've made a bunch of widgets and you have this higher inventory. So you don't really need to make any more. They're on the shelf. When somebody orders them, you send them out. Well, we want to know that the demand is still there so that people are buying the widgets. However, I didn't make them because I made them a year ago. They're just sitting on the shelf. So they're going out, going out, going out. Inventory goes lower. Hey, fire up the machines. We need to make more widgets. What happens when I make more widgets? I need the input that goes in, whether it's little pieces of aluminum or steel, or I don't know what a widget is, right? We need hourly employees to man the machines. We need people to repair the machines. We need accounting to account for the new inventory that's going to come in to make these widgets, right? So that's a sign of a stronger manufacturing economy, a stronger industrial economy, right? So when you look at things like the GDP number, don't just look at the headline. If you look a little bit further, you can go, hey, the stock market's not open yet, and I see that, which means materials and industrials should be getting some attention today. And, wouldn't you know it? Materials and industrials beat out tech and communication services just for today, right? It's just a sort of a day-to-day thing that you notice. Anyways, if you look at the S&P here, because we didn't have tech or communication services really doing anything today, the stock market couldn't go higher. While there were areas of the market that did go higher, awesome. It's not really, it's a market cap weighted index. It wasn't going to lift things higher. So for the moment, we say that the stock market rally is on hold, a brief pause, right? Not necessarily a bad thing, but that's where it stands. If you look at our little research tool, every client and research member has access to this. We're just going to look at the 1 day here for a minute. REITs, number one there, and I want to show something actually. If you go into REITs, it's not necessarily that the whole sector did well. Mostly fine. But if we go down here and we look, the biggest contributors were American Tower. Let's just click on that for a second. When I click on it, I can see all of their peers, their competitors, those closely related to them. Wouldn't you know it? American Tower was the best performer, and then look at all the other big dots for a second. Wow, any of the digital REITs did well today. So they were the ones that gave the biggest contribution to the gains inside the real estate sector. Notice that, we'll just go away for a second, come over in here. Was it the storage space companies? Not really, not really. Was it the apartment REITs? Was it the residential real estate REITs? Was it commercial real estate? No, not really. It wasn't bad. It's just, where was all the excitement today? Well, it was going to be in the digital REITs if you're participating in that sort of thing over there. All right, so that's that one. And then if you look it down a little bit further here, financials tend to do well when wholesale inventories go down as well. Industrials and materials. Yay. Wow, there's the action today. In fact, if I click on them, you can see a strong start to the day. Oh, what do you think that is? People responding to that number. Other smart people out there doing the same. Hey, wouldn't you know it? Materials doing the same thing there. Why wasn't tech doing the same thing? Notice the difference between the two. Well, it's not where the interest is today, right? We had those numbers come out that gave us a glimpse into where we should be looking. And so if you had a stock, let's say you're not necessarily a short-term trader or whatever, but if you had a stock in one of those sectors and you didn't see it go higher, oh, does that warrant maybe a little attention to the portfolio? I think it does, doesn't it? So I'm giving you a little inside glimpse on how you take information and boil it down to what action you should take. So if we look inside of materials here, you go, okay, I see what's going on here. So we got Lind, obviously one of the bigger contributors, and that's because it's 22% of the sector, right? So it didn't have to go up 10% in order to move the whole sector. A nice little 1.4% gain does the trick. Well, if we look around, let's find something that had a bad move here. Freeport, Dow Chemicals, Nucor, things like that. They had a down day. I don't like the sound of that, right? We just got data that told us what should be exciting, and then all of a sudden the thing that we have is not exciting. So that means, I might want to take a look at that. If you own it, we happen to own it, but if you own it, you go, shoot, is this the end? Is this the beginning of like some weakness that I don't understand yet? Maybe I should look into a little bit further. Maybe that's the case. So there you go, a little bit of a lesson there. If we look around the rest of the markets here today, you find the NASDAQ, of course, not doing well, and that's because tech, communication services, everything we just talked about was not interesting today. Healthcare, which can kind of stem into biotech, right? That all leads into the NASDAQ. Biotech, general tech, large cap tech. All sort of in the mix there. So understandable little pullback there. The Dow with the ever so slight little pullback as well. The rally's on hold. There's not much else to say in terms of that. Gold pretty quiet today. It's been quiet. And oil. Oil breaking just by like a penny, right? Ever so close, right? Just trying to break above this high. This remains that sort of ceiling that we talked about yesterday, and it's doing everything it can to get going there now. We had oil inventory numbers out today, and that naturally causes a little bit of volatility, but that's all that you have there. The Russell 2000 taking a break after leading the way over the last couple of days. That's fine. And then bonds, slight price improvement to the upside there, which means yields basically flat today. Don't read into that. Actually, there's not much else you can say there. And then you got Bitcoin. This is going to end badly for people. Hey, you better get you some, right? No. Very, very quick blast off to 65,000. And the first signs of people saying, I'll take that profit. Yeah, you better be quick if you're playing along with the old Bitcoin. Now, stock market wise, we're not day-to-day investors or traders or anything, but we want to look forward and go, what is this market doing, right? Should we be chasing it? Should we be getting in there and mixing it up a little bit? Well, you can actually see that the stock market is pricing in zero slowdown in the economy. That's a little bit dangerous there, right? Because there will eventually be a temporary, hopefully, slowdown in the economy. Right now, the stock market says, nope, no slowdown at all. We're just going to keep plugging along. Everything's good there. GDP 3.2%. Second estimates revised down to 0.1%, but not really a big deal. And so the market says, no slowdown at all. Can you blame it? Right? Earnings strong. Most data shows pretty healthy economy, including today. You got higher rates. We're all absorbing them. We're all like, fine. I go buy a house. I'll pay 6%. Whatever. I'll get a car. I'll pay a whole lot more. That's fine. We're all absorbing it. It's all fine there. But this makes tech stocks and those big, like high-valued stocks right now allowed to keep going. Because if there's no chance of a slowdown in the economy and all data is showing, yeah, it's good, not really much bad going on right now, then you can justify paying a little more, can't you? But what happens when there's the first sign of any slowdown? So in other words, we go from expecting nothing of a slowdown to even, all right, maybe just a small one, right? That's where that phrase comes in. The bulls take the stairs and the bears take the elevator, right? It's an old saying where, stock markets trend higher, very, very slow and boring like, but the declines tend to go whoop, real quick. Elevator, stairs. I think you get it there. What if inflation numbers tomorrow that are coming out, either here or in Europe, by the way, they're coming out in Europe as well, show even just a slight up, or even flat? What if they're just flat? Could that be a sign that maybe the economy is headed towards a sort of future path where it can't absorb this anymore? Something to consider there, because that's, it's coming. I don't know what to tell you. Hey, one more thing. Tomorrow is Leap Day. Yeah, tomorrow's Leap Day. Fun fact, typically a year divisible by 4, except for years ending in 00, are when you find Leap Day there. If it's a year ending in 00 and it's divisible by 400, then that's also a leap year day. Did you know that? That's why 2000 was a leap year, but like 1700 wasn't, 1800 wasn't, 1900, things like that. Anyways, that's a stupid little thing I remember. Stock market performance. It's a leap year day. We got to talk about it. Since 1952, remember, anytime I say 1952, it's because in 1952, the stock market went from a 4-day week to a 5-day week, right? So just something to point out. Anybody that says like leap year since 1932 or whatever, the data's skewed there because you don't have a lot of those dates in there. Anyways, the stock market performance on the official last day of February inside of a leap year, which means leap year day, is a slight loss of 0.13%. It's a slight decline. It's actually a 50-50 shot whether the market's going to be up or down, so really not anything to read into there, but I knew someone would ask, so there you go. All right, moving on here. Sam Adams, or Boston Beer. We also say Sam Adams, but this is a Boston Beer Company. Volumes, so they had their earnings weaker than expected. They continue to lower guidance there. I think the CEO is leaving or something, but this all stems from the hard seltzer. Volumes down and earnings missed by 3 times, right? 3x, if you want to sound smart there. They're still suffering from throwing away all the hard seltzers that, it was a fad for a while, just like 3D printing, the fake meats, the pot stock, you get it, right? Hard seltzers were all the rage there. And unfortunately, they got a lot of it sitting around, and you got to do something with it, so they just kind of pop the can and throw it down the drain. Applied Materials. So they said, we've got some subpoenas here that the government wants to know about some of our shipments to China. Well, here's a fun one. On our little podcast discussion that me and Eric did, we actually cover the stocks that current congressmen and women own. Would you know it that Applied Materials is not on that list? Intel is, Micron is, NVIDIA is. You see what I'm saying here? AMAT is not, which means they're not going to get any help, right? If Democrats and Republicans owned Applied Materials, you watch that thing go away real quick, right? There'd be no problems. Notice that this didn't happen to the other companies. Isn't that kind of funny to kind of pull everything back together there for you? And if you're interested, you'll see that coming up this week. All right, Baidu down by about 8% here today. Always better than expected. Monthly active users, which is important for this type of company, like looking at Meta or Alphabet or something like that. Monthly active users up 1%. Company says we will have an unwavering commitment to AI. Ernie in particular is their AI chatbot. They said our goal is to invest so much into this that the AI chatbot will account for 10% of our quarterly sales numbers. Well, what do you think the stock is down for here today? Is that not a very capital intensive thing to work on? Yeah, it sure is. So that's what's going on there. They're investing now, take the hit in exchange for having presumably easy returns on their investment. All right, Republic Services. I just think this is cool, man. This is a very basic company. They pick up trash. They, recycle the trash and all that, but they essentially pick up trash. Just a good old-fashioned company here. 40% gain, right? Over the last year, stock's up 40% there. And again, just, you guys put the trash out, they come pick it up. Sales up 9%, free cash flow. Remember we talked about that, the importance of free cash flow. I did a Jazz After Dark on that. Up 2 to 3% is their guidance going forward there. And they specifically noted that the price increases that they had implemented were in excess, their words, not mine, of inflation. So prices go up. Oh, we got to offset our costs, so we have to raise prices. Oh, wait a minute. We raised prices more than we need to. Our costs weren't actually that much. What does that equal? Profit margin, right? Bigger profit margin for them. Now, sadly, the stock is up 40%. And anytime a stock is up and then gaps higher, you welcome the intraday short-term short traders, right? That's all a bunch of day trading there, the profit taking and all of that stuff. So that's what we got there. Hey, if you want to take a look at Haley's channel, you want to learn the basics of finance and investing with bite-sized little pieces there, be sure to check out Haley's channel, Dough Straight, on YouTube. She's doing a great job over there. So that is that. I'll take your questions here in just a second. And before we do that, we have earnings. Right? Not a lot, hey, it's not earnings season. It's basically over. But we got Best Buy coming out. Hormel, just real quick here. Yeah, Best Buy coming out. Hormel. You got Autodesk, and then in the evening time, the attention probably goes to like Dell, Hewlett-Packard, Network Appliance. Yeah, they're all going to report tomorrow. Your best performers, there's a bunch of ties in there, actually. Dental supply is actually the worst. I didn't mention that a second ago. X-ray is the ticker symbol. They're down 7 of the last 8 earnings reports. So, yeah, they're the weakest. These things tend to happen. So I'll pop out the questions here, see if I can answer any questions for you. Otherwise, the stock market rally is just on hold. And remember, in just a second, me and Eric campaigning for clients. I want your business. And I'm going to air my campaign commercial for you in just a second. And I hope you will consider Jazz Wealth. Doc says, people drinking less sounds like a recession coming. If you break out the charge-off, or what do you call them, write-downs for the hard seltzer. They went hard on hard seltzer. They went harder than anybody else. So if you break that out, we're all still drinking. Yeah. DLM says, that's what I thought, but maybe Dustin can confirm that you can fund the previous year until the end of April. May is when they send the reports to go to the government to show what you contributed for the year. I think your question is based on putting money into an IRA or a Roth IRA. That is true. You have up until tax day to contribute. You could have already filed your taxes, right? And then you contributed to a Roth IRA, specifically a Roth IRA. You don't have to then go back and amend your returns or anything. Form 5498 gets sent late in May to the government to report any last-second contributions that you made. So as long as those numbers add up and you were eligible to contribute, no problem. MD, do you think people will be defaulting on their mortgages in 2024, 2025? Nope. There is a slight uptick in delinquencies, though. I'll give you that, but it is literally as close to historic lows as you can get. So I don't think that's, at the moment, what do we have? Remember, the economy is doing good. Everything's good. Yeah. Dustin still liking your lithium there? Yeah. Does Nancy sell off with a Trump presidency? Yeah. I don't know if that's a bet I'd be willing to make because remember, all it does is make up individual stocks. But I'll tell you what I would do. If you were really concerned about it, why not just only hold the stocks that both Democrats and Republicans hold inside of their own portfolios? If you cared enough. This is just fun, right? This is not some strategy or anything. Fun fact, the meme of the dumpster floating down the street is Republic Service. There you go. That's marketing right there, Doc. I'd slap a logo on that thing too. Yeah. RSG is the ticker symbol for Republic Services there, if you're curious. You like your Albemarle? Yeah, I wonder why that went higher today, huh? Now you know, right? You learned a little bit there, didn't you? Elijah King, Johan? Is that trying to trick me? Is that what you're doing there? See what he did? He tried to trick me there? Is this a trick question? Yeah. All right. I'll let you guys do all your alcoholism and things that you guys do back there. All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Hey, I'm campaigning for clients. I want your business, and here we go.
The financial world needs somebody they can trust, and also somebody who is professional.
If you have a snowball in your left hand and one in your right hand, what do you have? Frosty's full attention.
Eric Powell is not professional. Eric Powell is a radical political insider, despite saying that he isn't. He also definitely has ties to the Illuminati. He's on the record being a radical West Coast elite.
So I actually lived in Los Angeles for nearly 2 years.
Let's hear that again.
I lived in Los Angeles for nearly 2 years.
Unprofessional, political insider, West Coast radical elite. Dustin Tibbetts is the Southern gentleman you need and a man of the people. Justin Tibbetts, a man that would never cross the line with a joke, and more importantly, always money first.
I'm Eric Powell, and I approve this message.